Hi, this is Steve Voss, Anchor Wilderness Retreats and Coaching, and I'm going to talk about packing your backpack today. Now, most of you will probably have a internal frame pack. That's the most popular today, though some people still use an external frame pack. Not very many. This is a Katahdin 70-liter bag, so it's a pretty good sized bag. But there are a couple things about packing a bag. You want to put things at the bottom that you're not going to use immediately or frequently. So for me, the first thing that's going to go in the bag at the bottom is my sleeping system. So I'm going to stuff that down at the very bottom. But before I do that, for water protection, it's good to take a plastic bag, a garbage sack like this, a heavy duty one would be good. I like to use a yellow one because it allows me to see inside the bag easier in darker conditions. But I'm going to line my backpack with that bag and then put all my gear inside that. You'll give it a layer of water protection. Now, I'm not going to do that right now for the video, but just when I really go out, that's what I'll do. So I'm going to start with putting my sleeping bag at the bottom, and it's going to shove across the side. It's down, and it's a 800 fill down, so it really compresses nicely. And then after that, it kind of depends on what you've got going on and what the weather conditions are. Now, I'm going to take the bear canister with the food that I want to have stored and put that in here somewhere on top of that. I found that that just works really well for me. I'm going to have food there that I will not need during the day. During the daytime, I'm going to have a little bag for my snacks that I'm going to keep on the top of the bag, on top of my backpack, so I can get to those snacks easily for my trail mix and trail snacks throughout the day and for my lunches. I like to carry energy bars, granola bars. I'll use some cheese, maybe some beef jerky, combinations of things like that. But I'm going to keep that in a separate bag on the top of my backpack. And of course, in the evenings, I'm going to store that in the bear container away from the tent site. So my bear container's in there. I'm not going to obviously do two of them, so I'll put this to the side. And then I'm going to start filling in things like things I won't need very often. And it's going to be warm as I start out, so I'm going to put my, I'm not going to take this one on this trip. I'll take my puppy, it packs down. I'm going to shove that down in along the side. I'm going to take my jacket and put it down in there along the side on the other side. And I'm just going to try to stuff up every nook and cranny in that bag. So now I've got my jacket, etc. My rain gear I'm going to keep toward the top because you'd never know when a thunder shower will come out. Now, after I got my food in there in my sleeping bag, I want to put in my other things like this is my sleeping pad, so it's going to go in here along the side, someplace like that. And I'm going to take my cookware and kind of work it in there among the other stuff, but always being careful to keep it away from my back on the pack so it doesn't poke through and create some discomfort for there as I'm hiking. My cup, plate and spoon. Now I'm going to hold on to that because I have a different place for that. Now I have extra socks and things of that nature, an extra pair of underwear. That's going to go in there along the side. My pillow, I'm going to put that in. A lot of times I'll put that in the pack along with the sleeping bag. I didn't have it there this time. And at this point, I'm going to pause there because I want to show you something. Most of these backpacks have a top that can separate, and they call this a brain. You know, I'm going to separate that out there, and I'm going to show you something. That pack will stay out overnight, largely because I don't have room in my tent. I have a one-person tent. But this I take into my tent at night, and it separates in there. I'm going to have things like my first aid kit, any medications I use. I tend to put my plate and my spoon in there because I always know where it's at. I didn't mention this earlier, but a whistle for safety is a nice thing to have along. It's going to go in there. I'm going to throw the deck of cards in there. I'm going to throw in my hiking journal. I'm going to throw in my Bible, my repair kit stuff, I'm going to put in my light. This is a headlight. And this is my tent light and air blower, the compressor. And that's going to go in the brain. Now, if I'm not using the Garmin, I'm going to put that in there, but a lot of times if I'm hiking, I have it active, it's going to be hanging on the strap of my backpack. So all that will go in there. This is actually just extra first aid stuff for the group leader I'll be taking. And that will go there. My pocket knife, I like to keep in my pocket. Emergency space blanket, I'm going to put that in there. Cigarette lighters. I usually keep that somewhere near the cooking gear, so though I'm not going to have it that way right now, when I get ready to go, I'll put that in with the cooking gear, so I always have it ready to light my stove. And I'm going to put my map in there. And of course, my dish soap is going to go in there. And that will be that. Then I'm going to attach that back on here. And again, at night when my pack is out, that can go inside my tent, which is really nice to have. Oh, I did something wrong here. I guess I can't put it that way. By the way, you might notice this hanging on here. It's actual whistle, but it's also a thermometer, so I can check what temperature things are. Again, we're in Missouri today as I do this, and we're in the mid-90s. Pretty sweltering warm day. Now, I want to pull that off to the side for a minute, and I want to show you something else. On this pack here, and many packs will have these, this is where I'll put things like the toilet paper and the trowels, so it's easy to get to. My water bottles will get stuffed on a side pocket like this. Now, a Mountaineer pack will not have these external water bottles because you don't want them falling out and tumbling down like a rock or a missile to hit somebody below. But for regular backpacking, my water bottles will go there because I have a smart bottle extra system. These pockets are wide. I can usually shove that in there, make it work, if I take that. Then the other thing I have is my tent, and I'm going to take this off or back a second. When I get all my things in there, my rain gear, I'm going to have that shoved in there right toward the top, especially if the weather looks bad, so I can quickly access it. Now, depending on your pack and its size and what you're taking for a tent, you might be able to get a tent in there. I'm going to not do that. I'm going to put that tent right up here on the top like this, so that I can quickly get to it when I get to camp and pull that tent off of there and be ready to set that tent up. Especially if it's been a long day on the trail, I want to get that tent out. I don't want to dig for it, especially if you got bad weather, rain, wind. I want to have that tent quick and easy to get to. Snap that up there. So now what I've got in here is I've got my extra jacket, clothes, I got for cat holes, toilet paper, water, foods inside. All my personal stuff is in this brain part. It's going to be cinched down. And what do I have left is this pad right here. This pack has made it possible to just attach that at the bottom. Now your pack design may be different than that, but I like to carry this right here. And again, it may not be that you would necessarily have to have this with a good sleeping air mattress, but I tend to like to have it. And it will snap down there toward the bottom. And there's my pack. And again, I've got some extra things I didn't have here earlier. My battery charger, forgot to put that in, so it's going to go up here in the brain as well, so I quickly have access to my charger. And my water filtration system, I like to have that in a side pocket, so as I'm hiking along, I can get to my filtration system. The bag for that is going to be right there. and I can quickly have access to get that and filter water, etc. Compass, oftentimes I'll carry that around my neck, but otherwise I'll put it in here. Bug spray, I like to keep that away from food, so it's going to go in a different pocket over here, away from anything that might be edible, but I want it easily accessible. I don't want to put that in with other stuff. I forgot to put the fuel canister in, but you've kind of got the idea. There's plenty of room. Once I've got all that in here, I've got my pack complete, and there it is. The one thing that I didn't tell you, I like to get my feet to rest and air out when I get to camp, so some really cheap Walmart rubber sandals. I will oftentimes take those and I'll attach them with these little cheap carabiners right to my pack, and they just flop along as I go. So there's my backpack. I have all my stuff in there, my food, water, emergency gear, lighting, batteries, camera, tent. It's all right there. And when you hoist your pack, a typical way to do that is to take it here by the shoulder straps and put it up on your knee and just put your shoulder into it and then flip the other one right in there. And you want to get your belt. You've got these hip pointers on your bones right here. You want to get this pack to fit right on those bones, and so you hoist it up, bend over just a little bit, snap it up, pull it tight, cinch it up, and you want the most of the weight to be on those hips, with just a little bit of weight on the shoulders, and mostly to stabilize it. And you will adjust it as you hike. I know that I will sometimes switch more to my shoulders to give my hips a break. And if you're hiking in mountainous country and trails that are steep, this will help stabilize it. And there's your pack. Some packs have longer straps here to just put your thumbs into, to just put a place for your hands. That's totally up to you. This pack has it. I like to do that sometimes. And there we go. Hope this is helpful. I'll see you on the trail.